I'm going to read some verses to you about receiving from the Lord. All right. And why you know, well, by the end of this, you're going to know that you don't have to beg the Lord. He tells us to come boldly to his throne. Boldly doesn't mean rambunctious and wild and disrespectful. Boldly just means I can walk in there confident in who I know who I am, and I know that I can ask my Father for stuff. And you can be bold and humble. In fact, you're called to be bold and humble, right? So I'm gonna just read off some verses. Okay, this one's in the Amplified Classic. It's Matthew 18:19. Again, I tell you, if two of you on earth agree, harmonize together, make a symphony together about whatever, anything and everything they may ask, it will come to pass and be done for them by my Father in heaven. Okay. Matthew 21:22. Whatever you ask for in prayer, having faith and really believing, you will receive. John 11:22, it says, now, yet even now, I know that whatever you ask from God, God will give you. Okay, Mark 11:24, therefore I tell you, everything you pray and ask for, believe that you have received and it will be yours. Okay, James 1:6, but let him ask in faith without doubting or without divided loyalties. For the doubter is like the surging sea driven and tossed by the wind. James 1:17. 1 John 3:22. And whatever we ask of him we receive, because we keep his commands, and by our beautiful intentions we continue to do what brings pleasure to him. 1 John 5:14 and 15. This is the remarkable degree of confidence which we as believers entitled to have before him, that if we ask anything according to his will, that is, consistent with his plan and purpose, he hears us. And if we know for a fact, as we indeed do, that he hears us and listens to us in whatever we ask, we also know with settled and absolute knowledge that we have granted to us the requests which we have asked of him. And so all those, there's more, but these are the few that I have written down right now. Though it tarries, wait for it. It will not delay. So you speak it, and sometimes it takes a while for something to manifest in this realm that you are pulling forth from the other realm. And we can see that in the book of Daniel. It took 21 days for him to receive the answers to his prayers. And that's because of the spiritual warfare. But he did not give up. He intensified. I mean, fasting is a pretty intense experience as far as what your body is going through. You know, So we know we just have to have that understanding. Sometimes you see things immediately, including judgment. In the Bible it says some people judgment is rendered immediately, and some people it follows them until their death, until they get to the other side, or it just follows them. So they're continuously receiving judgment. But it's like so with everything in different realms and dimensions, we don't have to be so complicated in our mind to worry about that. But what we need to understand is it can take a while before we see a manifestation of something. When you fall ill with something, a virus, a cold, you can take the remedies, you can do your part, but it still takes a little while for your body to fight it off, overcome it, and get rid of it from your body. And all that time, it was also acquiring adaptations to be able to recognize it next time. And so you'll get what you ask for. But if it includes other people, they have free will. With Esther and Vashti had used her free will, got booted out. Now the king raised up someone else. Saul used his free will. The kingdom was ripped from him. someone else was raised up for the position. So Israel still had a king, and Susa still had a queen, but it took a little while for the manifestation to take effect. But it was not late. They were not late. They arose to the position at the proper time after having acquired the defense mechanisms, the offense mechanisms, the journeying through life that they needed in order to be humble, yielded to the Lord, and obedient to accomplish the task, the missions set before them in governing a kingdom, or being the counterpart to governing the kingdom. And so 17 years, I believe, is the correct number. David was running away from Saul. Now, way before that, the 17 years prior or something, somewhere before David was running from Saul, the kingship was was taken from Saul because he gave it up with his free will and his disobedience. So David's kingship that he was anointed for as a kid, teenager, it seemed to tarry, it seemed to delay, but it came at the proper time. The coming one came and did not delay, and he brought with him his life experience and his relationship with God, which was beneficial to govern the kingdom. And so don't give up hope just because something takes a long time. When he comes to you to give to you the thing that you've asked for, is he going to find faith in you? Is he going to find faith for the thing that you asked for? Or does he have to leave and come back after you've learned some more? A lot of times also the length of the wait until we receive the manifestation has to do with us and our heart posture, because we also have free will. And when we are not confident and absolutely positive that I received this in the spirit and I'm waiting for the manifestation in the physical, the enemy likes to toss us around and make us think, oh, I thought that up by myself. But when we're walking with the Lord and we're doing 1 Corinthians chapter 2, we are discerning and judging all things correctly. We have to maybe take note of that, write that stuff down so the one who sees the vision may run with it, But when you're confident and you're secure and you're going over this, you're watering the promises inside of your heart and allowing them to take root. They're going to come and they're not going to delay. They will be at the appropriate time. You reap what you sow. If you sow nothing, you reap nothing. So instead of being like, oh my gosh, when is it going to come up? We should be sowing every day something, sowing the word of God into the atmosphere around us, sowing the word of God into our hearts until, he told us the new covenant in this day that he was going to make was that his word would be written on our hearts and on our minds, right? Not just on paper. So we become a manifestation of the words that God spoke to us and over us. So if you ask your parent for something, your guardian for something, your significant other for something, and you know that they love you, they're going to want to get you the thing that you want. If your child asks you for something, you're going to want to give them something. Now, if you know that something's not good, the answer might just be no, which would not be in accordance with your will for them to walk in good health. If they're like, hey, let me eat candy all day, well, no, that's just a no. And that doesn't mean I don't love you. It actually means I do love you. So he disciplines us when we're his son and daughter as well. So just, it's important as you continue walking in this and wrapping your mind around these things, the wait is okay. And what does a waiter do? When a waiter comes to your table, they're waiting on you. They are actively serving you drinks, napkins, forks, appetizers. And then they bring you your food. And then they clean up your table, and that kind of stuff. A waiter is actively waiting. And they are sewing into your experience so that they can receive a reward, which is a tip. So while we are waiting, we need to also be actively sowing into different areas of our life, into areas of other people's lives. You sow into your body by caring for it. And the better it runs and functions, the more easy it is to align it with the spirit, because it's concerning itself with the things of God, which is all for your good and your well-being. But if your body is depressed and sick and malfunctioning and broken, that is going to hinder your experience. That's going to hinder your ability to work and walk in fullness. So your health, your mental health, your physical health, it's all just as important as growing your spirit. God doesn't want us to be here sick and depressed and stuff like that. We can learn from those. He will turn them around and use them for good. But all this is to say, when you believe, you're going to receive. When you ask for something, you're going to get it. If you believed when you asked, you know he hears you. He's your father. And so don't go in there thinking you have to beg. You can be humble. You should be humble. You should also be bold. You're not so timid to walk up to your spouse or your child, are you? Or, your father or your mother. You're not so timid to just go up. Hey, can I have a sandwich? I'm not being prideful to gleefully ask if you can make me a sandwich, or something like that. And it's a relationship. So if you feel timid and all that, you work on your relationship and the other things follow. Matthew 6 in that, 27 through 33 or 34, you mean a lot more to your father than some sparrows, which he also likes. He made them, but they don't have his breath in them. They don't have the breath of God. They can't be holy or unholy. They're animals. They're birds, But he formed you. He made you. He thought of you and he wrote about you before you came here. So you seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, which is him. And then he gives you everything else. That is all.